Each Medina that we visited had distinctive charm from one another, but they all shared the same religious core. The Tangier Medina was the first Medina that we visited. I believe this was a moving moment for us all. There is one big green door in the Tangier Medina that is said that when you touch it, it grants you good fortune. Did you know that fountains in Morocco were meant for more than just decoration? We didn't. Fountains here are used for cooking, cleaning, and much more. The Asila Medina is home to an annual art festival, which leaves the walls of the city covered in beautiful murals year-round. The Techwan Medina is home to many jewelry shops, and more walls than not are painted green, which is the sacred color of Islam. The Chefchaouen Medina stood out to us all. The blue city. The city proves that no colors are accidental. The blue walls represent Jewish families, and the white walls Muslim ones. Our tour guide told us that this was called the Smurf City, both because of the blue color and the small doors. He told us that if we fit in these doors, it means that we belong. When we visited Seville, we learned that when the Almohad dynasty was ruling, much of the city was Islamic. The cathedral that we visited was once a mosque. The muezzin climbed a series of 34 ramps each day on the back of a donkey to bring out the call to prayer. The slaughtering of cats and dogs in Islamic culture is forbidden. This has led to the streets being covered in strays, not that we've minded at all. Much of the Moroccan residents and shop owners give out food and water for these animals, and we have a whole family of cats on campus that we care for. They bring us comfort and joy when many of us are missing our own animals. It has been so rewarding to be immersed in a new culture and living in a new country, but despite these feelings of excitement, we cannot help but be overwhelmed.
A semester abroad is full of laughter and joy, but not everything about it is happy. Leaving home can come with a lot of anxiety. Many of us experienced instant panic after arriving and fully realizing this new country would be our home for 4 months. Orientation week was a whirlwind. Happiness, exhaustion, anxiety all coursed through us. After 36 hours of no sleep, it didn't quite hit us yet that we were in a new country. Possibly the most anxiety-inducing part of it was the scavenger hunt at the end of the week. We were given a list of items to search for. We had to talk to locals, practice our bargaining skills, use extremely broken Arabic that we had only just learned, all within the first few days of being here. All with the final task of finding a cab by ourselves and getting back to campus. Many of us began to panic as this was a completely new experience for all of us. In addition to that, we learned how deep the language barriers were rooted. Many of us have never had to deal with them before, and from the moment we arrived, we all realized how difficult it would be to communicate with the locals. Basic things we would do in our daily lives, such as ordering food at a restaurant or ordering a cab, became extremely difficult. Confusion rang clear on both sides, but eventually we were able to find our way home. As we immersed ourselves in this new culture, we also immersed ourselves into the food, which is another nerve-wracking part of going to any country. We had to venture quite far out of our comfort zone when trying new foods, as most of them were not labeled, and we couldn't recognize them. Food here often tastes very different than you expect it to, but also very often, it's a pleasant surprise. While we're still experiencing new foods towards the end of our journey, many of us have started to recognize and enjoy traditional Moroccan dishes. As we learned about the new environment and the new food, we also had to learn our campus and had another task, getting to know the other 40 people we would be spending our time with. In a new country where everything is completely different, we were being thrown into the deep end with our classmates, all of us worried about how we would get along. School trips, classes, and volunteering provided us many opportunities to bond with each other, as well as our shared experiences of being away from home. And as well as meeting a bunch of new classmates, we also had to meet people outside of our small campus. This led us to our host families in Chefchaouen. This moment where we stood in the square of Chefchaouen was an unforgettable and extremely stressful moment for many of us, as we knew we would meet the people whose homes would become ours for the weekend. As we met our host siblings, a lot of that anxiety quickly faded, as they were very warm and welcoming towards us. Going into host families' homes for many of us, and the worry and anxiety paid off. It was very far out of our comfort zones, but it was a push that paid off for us in the end. One morning, we all woke up the same way, a cacophony of ringtones and phone vibrations shaking us from our sleep. Many of us had no idea what was going on, and the panicking from our family members and friends had us panicked.
We learned what happened very quickly. A 6.8 earthquake had hit the Atlas Mountains, ending many lives and hurting many others.
Ancient buildings fell, family members were lost, and our own families at home were in a stir.
Fortunately, our campus was not affected. Many of us had not even known what had occurred the previous night until the next morning.
Our anxiety soon faded, however, as Morocco worked towards recovery, their resilience astounding and admirable to us all.
We instantly felt a sense of loss as a community, many of us wondering how we could help our neighbors to the south. The next day, many of our students took off to a local hospital, but were turned away due to high donations of blood given by the Moroccan people. They braved the heat the previous day, donating blood on the off chance of helping a stranger. We would soon learn that this embodied the Moroccan people and their commitment to their community. The next day, our students once again headed off to donate blood, and the local nurses and doctors helped them give back to the community they had only just known, begin to know and love. Some of our students had already experienced the warmth and welcoming of the Moroccan nurses and doctors due to unexpected visits at the hospital. Not long after our feet first touched Moroccan soil, some of our students felt so tired that a shower door became an imminent enemy. The doctors and nurses did their best to reassure our students, but there was a language barrier, and when a kind word could help, there didn't seem to be any. Until other patients, doctors, and nurses gave our students reassuring smiles, and the comfort that brought could not be put into words. Though these visits started out as a bad experience, they became a comforting, connecting moment in their lives. And so while some of our students had been patients on the receiving end of these doctors and nurses' kind smiles, others got to know them as colleagues at a hospital, volunteering and shadowing their every move. As our students arrived at the hospital, they were filled with excitement, desire to learn. It became very apparent shortly after arrival, however, they were treated as equals. There was no need to fear. For the same kind and reassuring smiles they gave their patients, they gave our students. These were a beautiful experience our nursing students were able to have, integrating themselves into the Moroccan healthcare system, helping both young and old Moroccans as the semester continued on. And so, while some of our students took this time to help Moroccan people, some of our students decided to help the children of Morocco. There's an orphanage here in Tangier called La Crèche, and many of our students have spent the entire semester helping the children there. When you walk into the building, the scent of baby formula and cleaning supplies might overwhelm your senses. The sounds of laughing children and crying babies might overwhelm you. Our students found themselves immediately thrust into action, tasked with comforting crying babies. Many found that this was a comforting and life-changing experience, helping them to fulfill an important role to these children. Leaving the creche after volunteering every day was filled with tearful goodbyes, little arms reaching out, not wanting our students to leave. The stories that these children have to share have left marks on our students' hearts, and they've seen that through their time in La Crèche, that some things in childhood are just universal, that it should be a time full of laughter and smiles, that there should be no pain, no sorrow. And we found that many Moroccans agreed with this. Some of our students were walking one day down a familiar path that they head to kickboxing, but they did 3 times a week. As they were headed down this familiar street, they were blocked. This quiet street is filled with sounds and shouting and so many people. As our students headed closer, they found that children ran freely among the crowd. Some were on shoulders, some held their hands for their parents. As our students continued on, they realized that there was emotions written on these Moroccan faces. Their community was hurting. As they slowly walked, they couldn't tear their eyes away from the pain, the suffering that our community was displaying on their faces. They stood, witnessed the pain of our Moroccan friends as they fought against the Palestinian war. As they reached the top of the hill that normally left them breathless, they found they had no breath left to give, it having been stolen by the loyalty and love our Moroccan family had shown to those across the world. As our students arrived at kickboxing, they found that their friends that they had began to know during the semester wore Free Palestine t-shirts, vocalizing their support for these people. The later half of our time in Morocco was filled with displays of pain like this. And yet, our community's steadfast support and loyalty was amazing. Our students' friendship with the Moroccans reflected this same loyalty, with one in particular, a Moroccan kickboxer, showcased kindness and gentle nature of all Moroccans. At kickboxing, after the usual warm-up, a few new moves learned, the instructor Ilyas announced to the class that they were to commence light sparring. Our student's partner was called Hamza, someone who our students had only begun to know. He had background in Taekwondo and usually goes all out. As Hamza and our student exchanged punch after punch, an unusual event took place. Blood began to flow relentlessly down our student's face as a bloody nose occurred. Soon, the instructor, our other friend Ayub, and Hamza both crowded around our student, voicing their concerns. Ayub began to try to plug the bleed with gauze, and as the class ended, Hamza approached and expressed his heartfelt sorrow for any injury he might have put on our student. To this day, Hamza approaches our students with apologies at the ready, a 1-2 kiss, and smiles. Nosebleeds have brought our students closer to their Moroccan friends, but so has the celebration of birthdays. A memorable one is when a newly turned 19-year-old was thrown into the air by a whole bunch of his Moroccan friends.
Moroccan celebration at heart is a beautiful quilt composed of rich, century-old traditions sewn together by the very people keeping its culture alive. Over the years, a unique compilation of rituals has been pieced together, now used to celebrate everything from daily life to the most important holidays. The culture's immense love for everyone around them has allowed us to become fully immersed in these celebrations during our time in the country we now know to be home. Our long-anticipated arrival is something not only celebrated by us, but also by those who work tirelessly to make our new life here a reality. Following our convocation ceremony, during which we were introduced to our new professors, the kind and generous Anwar Majid of Global Affairs brought us out for a delicious Moroccan dinner. Although we just met, he offered each of us a firm handshake and bright smile. Throughout the night, he visited each table to ensure we all felt comfortable and welcomed. As the moon illuminated the night sky, we spent the evening dancing under its stars. We continuously thanked Majid for crafting one of the most perfect first nights we could have asked for. Without fail, each thank you we offered was met with the same response: "This is just the beginning." Although the music eventually faded, as we made our way home, laughter filled the air. Watching out bus windows, we took note of how lively the streets remained. Each family and group of friends we passed appeared to be celebrating their daily life in such a remarkable country. Back on campus, the halls were flooded with excitement for the journey that lay ahead. This marked the moment in time many of us knew that Moroccan culture and celebration was one we could not wait to become a part of. Birthdays, a day to celebrate an individual gaining wisdom, experience, and joy as they complete another year of their own journey. These days are most often spent surrounded by one's own family, something that seems utterly impossible when home is over 3,000 miles away. Although those sharing our DNA may currently reside far across the ocean, that does not mean that family is nowhere to be found. Given Morocco's extraordinary hospitality, not a single birthday went by where we did not feel loved and cherished, reminiscent of the way in which we feel back home. When on campus, the wonderful kitchen staff presents each birthday boy or girl with a gorgeous cake designed especially for them. Each cake is revealed, accompanied by clapping, singing, and countless smiles. These meals are increasingly thoughtful, given that birthdays are often when homesickness tends to creep into our hearts. Each and every one here at UNE has continuously proven just how kind and generous Moroccan people are as they celebrate each of our special days. Not only do those here on campus ensure these moments are celebrated, but one very special individual spent her birthday in the blue city of Chefchaouen, where her host family produced one of the most joyous birthday nights she had ever had. Following her return home from a long day's hike in the mountains surrounding the city, she was welcomed in by her kind-hearted host brothers and sisters. As she walked up the steps, she was greeted with a choir of voices joining together in harmony to wish her happy birthday in not one, but 2 languages. Her family went to extraordinary lengths to make her feel right at home, celebrating her just as her loved ones would have done back in America. They created an artistic blend of our birthday traditions woven in with their very own to welcome her into the family. Following the singing, her host mother lit candles on top of the cake she had ordered from the most well-respected baker in town. As she blew the candles out, surrounded by new friends and family, she recounts wishing that her time here in Morocco would never end. The evening continued on as laughter filled the room, engulfing all in its joyous sounds. While sipping mint tea, stories were shared of birthdays past, forming an unbreakable bond, sure to far outlive our time spent in the city. Even on days when calendars are not marked with a dot representing a birthday or holiday, Moroccans recognize each day as a blessing, giving reason to celebrate. We quickly picked up on this cultural importance of celebrating each day and the joy found within it. Countless nights throughout the semester were spent out in the town as a large group, celebrating the new chapter of our lives as it intertwined with one another. We danced late into the night, just as we had the first evening we all spent celebrating together. Live music often surrounds us, performing an array of traditional Moroccan music, along with songs we find comfort and familiarity in. Many nights, individuals have been brought on stage by vocalists grinning ear to ear, allowing us to embrace tradition and celebrate their music along with them. It is these nights spent chatting with those we did not know as well, forming friendships destined to span years after our return home. Creating a family while abroad has been reason enough to celebrate. These moments reflect an external projection of our love we have for our new home and celebrating all the aspects of daily life we have to be grateful for. On each night that we have come together as one, celebrating experiences shared and bonds formed, we craft a unique set of memories we will cherish for years to come. One particular night, a month or so ago in the Saharan desert, an individual celebrated his time in this gorgeous country in a slightly different way. Amidst the music and laughter circling the hotel square, he escaped to the top of a sand dune to be alone with his thoughts for a brief moment. As he looked over the immense stretch of sand, he couldn't help but feel as if the land may just go on forever. It was in this moment he inhaled deeply, breathing in the cool night air. Celebrations are not always loud and colorful. Sometimes they are the feeling of joy pouring out from your heart, even while all alone. He felt a sense of peace as he reflected on the astonishing opportunities and experiences that had happened and all that still lay ahead. Walks through the Medina, coffee with new friends, and even bus rides that felt as if they would never end, were all reasons to be celebrated. These unforgettable opportunities are something that only could have been experienced here in Morocco. Before climbing down the dune, he took a final breath, noting that in a world so large, in a desert so vast, in a sky covered in an abundance of stars, that each decision he made had led him to this very moment, changing him for the better, and that was worth celebrating. That very night, we gathered under the night stars and danced just as we had countless evenings back in Tangier, honoring the feeling we had our first night spent celebrating together under the gorgeous Moroccan sky. Except this time it was not a mere wish that we'd form friendships or make unforgettable memories. For this time we danced to celebrate the friendships we had in fact made, with certainty that their impact in our hearts would stretch past the desert sands, transverse the Atlantic Ocean, and become lifelong souvenirs of our time spent celebrating the extraordinary culture, people, and experiences that happened over 4 very special months in 2023. As we conclude the ceremony, we want to thank countless people that made our experiences in Morocco an unforgettable one. First, the queen herself, the one and only Dua. Yeah, Dua! You have been like a big sister to us all, offering advice and kindness over the past few months. Thank you for going above and beyond each and every day. Every sleepless night you've spent or moment you've spent with us during the day has not gone unnoticed, and we can't thank you enough for everything you've done for us over our time here. We thank you so much, and we love you even more. Next, I would like to extend a warm thank you to the kind security staff who ensures our safety on campus both day and night. Thank you for always greeting us with a kind smile and never failing to brighten our day. Thank you for the kindness that you've showed us.
Next, we would like to thank the gardeners who keep our campus so very beautiful, for helping me specifically with my crazy turtle project. I would also like to thank Murad. I know we mentioned him a whole bunch of times in our performance, but he always walks into the room with a kind smile, always making us laugh, and so we wanted to thank him very, very much.
We would also like to thank the kitchen crew for providing us with amazing meals, both of Moroccan culture and of our own back home, and also for providing a friendly face both on and off campus. Another thank you we want to give out is to one of our program coordinators, Huda. There are not enough ways that we can thank you for often offering us a warm smile, a guiding hand, advice both in and outside of office hours, and I know from personal experience that I would not have made it through this semester without you.
We would also like to thank our cleaning staff for making sure that everything looks perfect and runs perfect. You do so much and we are so grateful. We would also like to thank our other program coordinator, Manar, for whether it was countless questions about volunteering, taking folks to the hospital, or just being there to listen and to support us. Thank you, and we love you very much.
We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated professors who have really enriched our time abroad with their knowledge and passion. Your guidance has been really invaluable to us. You've shaped our academic journey, and thank you for sharing your passion with us and fostering a deeper connection with Morocco. And then we would also like to send our many thanks to our Vice President, Anwar Majid, for his leadership during the semester. His support and strategic vision played a really crucial role in our time here and allowed us to have a really vibrant experience in Tangier. And with that, Metstafin Mahrid.
Yo, Jaden, you get a pillow. You get a pillow.